Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good break. I hope you got some rest and relaxation. Um, so this week, we're going to keep moving forward with the course content. We're going to start looking into the semantic web and the relationships developed through information organization that really make our systems of information a lot more dynamic for the end user. We're going to be introduced this week to the entity relationship models, which are the core of the semantic web. That's what we're going to really be focusing on this week is that entity relationship model. We're going to be looking at the next generation OPAC. We're going to be looking at the next generation library systems and understanding how they are how they are designed and how they function. Um, you know, uh, so far when we've been talking about let's say entities, um, we've been thinking about them as the objects or the discrete things that represent something, larger that we would find inside of our OPAC. And so, the entities that make up representation of an entire book, or the entities that make up the representation for an entire journal or an entire DVD. But this week we're going to start exploring the entity relationship model, and we're going to think a little bit differently about entities. Um, so when you listen to the lectures this week, you'll hear about a concept called Ferber. So it's FRBR, which is in itself an entity relationship model and was developed by IFLA, the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, more acronyms for us. Um, Ferber is it's a conceptual framework that we are using in all our next generation library systems. It represents a more holistic approach for retrieval and access. That it's all fundamentally based on the relationships between entities that provide links for our users to navigate. And the concept of Ferber is all based on the hierarchy relationships. And so when I talk about links, I'm not thinking about web links. I'm actually thinking about the connections inside the information architecture itself. Okay. So again, Ferber stands for Functional Requirements for Bibliographic Record. It provides a conceptual model and a functional requirement, and it's referred to as Ferber. So this week we're going to be introduced to the concept of like how the World Wide Web functions. That essentially is where Ferber was first developed. It's based on what the end user experience has been like searching the World Wide Web. I almost called it the Wild Wild Web. So libraries, for a number of years have been struggling and trying to design our systems to meet the expectations of our users who have a significant amount of time and experience searching for information, and we're trying to make our systems similar to the systems that our end users have already been, using through their time before they ever step foot inside of a library. Um, so the one thing I'll say is that FRBR, Ferber, it will not be part of your information organization project, okay? This is just more content we're going to go through in this class. But it's important that you understand this. You don't need to become an expert in Ferber. You don't need to become an expert in these entity relationship models, but you have to fundamentally understand how they work. Um, so that you have a deeper understanding when you're working with a patron or you're designing your systems, how the library systems function, and why they are designed in a way that just to meet the requirements and the expectations of the end users. I think historically libraries inadvertently designed systems so that they serve the organizations of libraries, have a set core. set of standards, right? That we can all agree upon. This is, how we will function as a community. But we've kind of flipped this script, probably for the last 10, 20 years, in trying to think more about the end user. So we always focus on the end user, getting to know the library system, which we still think is important. But now our library systems are trying to focus more on getting to understand the end user, and that's the whole concept of the entity relationship model that you'll learn about in Ferber. So I do hope everybody had a good break, um, and I'll see you online.